of my favorite memories, I would say, would be the school I attended, which was the Apex Consolidated High School. That's one of my favorite because of the friends that I met while I was there, people that are lifelong friends. The other thing significant about that is our school was totally black, and it didn't integrate until the after the year I graduated. So I have a lot of memories from the black experience that I got while I was at Apex Consolidated High School. Um, I think playing intramural basketball was one. Um, we didn't have a football team, and I always wanted to play football. The other thing was a baseball team. I played baseball, and that was one of the fun memories that I had as far as sports. Uh, I think that was one of my most fun memories was how I participated in the sports that were available for us uh, at our school. For me, the one that really hits home for me was as a kid growing up in Apex, uh, and it's one of been the biggest issues now is racial profiling from the police. Uh, that was one that always stuck with me because when I got to the point where I was able to drive or get a car, then whenever I come to town, I was always stopped for just whatever reason because I was a black kid with a car, and there wasn't many black kids back when I was growing up that had cars that could drive. So that was one of the things for me that really stuck with me. And to give you an example, I'd come to town and I'd get pulled over for cars making too much noise or just pulled over because I come to town. And one of the things that really stuck with me was I was pulled over one night because the policeman said when I come through town, and I was probably a half a mile out of town, he said he heard me speeding. And I looked up in my rearview mirror, and sure enough, he followed me out of town and stopped me even out of the town limits. And his first thing was, I heard you speeding, so that's why I stopped you. So, experiences like that, but that's one that was pretty prevalent to me, was the racial profiling. It's what they termed it, is the term for it now, racial profiling. But I experienced that when I was a kid. I was always stopped. Uh, and I say that because a lot of the white kids that I grew up with that we kind of associated with because back then, if you had a car, the thing was cars, fast cars. So some of the white kids that I was friends with, we'd always get together, in our own, we'd pick an area that we could get together in. And they were never stopped. They were never harassed about their cars. But whenever I come to town, I, I expected to be stopped, so I would always try to be on my best behavior. What makes Apex home for me is I was born here. I grew up here in and around Apex. Uh, my family is here. Uh, my whole life has been Apex, so that's pretty much all I know is Apex. I've never traveled, what you might say, to other states or other countries. So all I know is Apex, and it's home for me. That's where my family is. That's where my friends are. That's why I grew up learning some of the values. Well, all of the values that I have. It's like my community. It's my home. When I grew up, we lived in the outskirts of the town, and just coming into town was a big deal for us as families. Being able to come to town once a week and shop at the grocery stores, or come to town once a week to get a haircut, to meet my other friends around Apex, and just for socializing. Even though we were the area we were kind of the black area that we socialized in. For me, that was was the big deal for me. And that was, for me, that was what made me feel like I was part of the community. We lived in always within a 5 mile radius of the town itself. So, um, and we were sharecroppers, so we like move around. So I lived like in Friendship, uh, the Green Level area, which is now probably 5 miles. It's an outer area of Apex. And then we've actually lived in the town of Apex for years. So we just kind of moved around in and around Apex, um, during my childhood and as I grew up. Then we were bused to the school, uh, which was from the surrounding areas where we lived. Some of my hopes for Apex's potential is that it continues to grow, it continues to thrive, it continues to be a community where, even though, in my opinion, it's come a long ways as far as uh, some of the bad things that I thought were bad as a kid growing up, some of the things that were not pleasant. Apex has been a town that's been willing to grow and address those issues. So my desire is that it continue to be open to that and continue to do all it can to make Apex a town where people would want to come and live. And I think what is it, the best place voted to live in one of the best places voted to live in. And I think that's due because of their willingness and openness to continue to grow and to continue to make it feel like a community for all people.